And now it's time for this Skylander short. It's called To Meet or Not to Meet.
Cartoons.
And more, might do that thing. Fit and more stuff.
You're watching Exables Chernobyl. Oh, we're here! Hello, everyone, and welcome on a first-time award for the Foodsgiving 2024. I am Amity Blight. So today we are going to take a look at the top 10 worst Thanksgiving dinner dishes. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Action!
There's more to a Thanksgiving meal than just turkey, so let's round up the top 10 worst Thanksgiving dinner dishes. Cranberry sauce. The cranberry is such an unassuming fruit.
Ooh,
the
the
rich
cranberry.
color and delicate size
Still
and
got like
structure
ocean
of the
spray.
fruit lulls you into a false sense of sweet decadence.
Very yummy.
The reality
I
is
can't
far
even wait
less
to tell
appealing.
you
The
about
cranberry
something.
is tough,
I am
chewy,
Face 9000.
and overall
You
pretty
again?
brutal on the taste buds.
Why
The
me?
cranberries always seemed like an odd addition to the holiday table. The fruit is incredibly sour even after
That
adding
thing is
buckets of sugar.
frutastic
The
to
taste
me.
always
Give me
completely
something to
overtakes
eat,
just
would
about
you?
everything it touches, making it a bizarre option to have as a side dish to the more subtle flavor of a perfectly basted and baked turkey. And forget about using it in a dessert.
Still got a lot to
However,
do this
year after
one.
year, it continues to make an appearance on dining tables far and wide. But what is it, and what makes the weird red relish so unpleasant?
Gross,
The best
man.
answer
That
lies
sounds
within
tough.
the bucket of sugar idea that was touched on earlier. In fact, the cranberry sauce that you buy doesn't have any actual sugar per se, but rather it is cooked with high fructose corn syrup. The concoction is then broiled and boiled into the notorious red goop, then cooled and canned. It comes in two popular types, the jellied, for more of a solid goop flavor, and the whole fruit / berry variety, if chewing pieces of the fruit in the jelly is something that you prefer. Either way, cranberry sauce
Hey,
continues
that's
to
sorta
appear
like
on the
a
table,
good old Thanksgiving
regardless of
feast,
how
y'all.
much people dislike it. Turnip. This Thanksgiving side takes us on a
Still
journey
got a lot
into
of
the
Thanksgiving
blender
this
end of the
time.
side dish spectrum.
Strawberry
Turnip is a root
turnips.
vegetable that comes in two main colors, purple and white. It grows in cold climates with lots of sunlight. Turnips have been used in place of the greasy, salty potato chip, appearing on shelves in the last decade or so as an alternative
Oh,
chip.
still got
if
a
you're
lot
feeling
this
like something
time.
with a more earthy
Eating
taste.
turnips is
They have
good
more
old
fiber,
vegetable.
if you care about that
No,
kind of
don't
thing.
worry
But
about
for the
that
purposes
too.
of this list, the turnip is not being put on a pedestal for its trendy
No,
new
that only
appearance on
dinner
store
for
shelves.
Thanksgiving,
This
though.
kind of turnip is the kind that is
Whatever.
mashed and smashed, is served with little to no seasoning, and tends to make a sickly sound when a heaping spoon of it hits the plate. It tends to be the whole white
Oh,
version,
boy.
with
That
perhaps
sounds a
sprinkle
little bit
of
tired.
cheese or an onion to jazz it up. Jazzing up a turnip seems to be an uphill battle, as many people still associate the turnip with tasting like dirt. Ouch. Steamed or boiled, baked or grilled, try as it might, the turnip continues to be one of the worst additions to the Thanksgiving dinner spread. Creamed corn. There are lots of corn advocates out there, but we're not talking about the fan favorite corn on the cob. We're talking about creamed corn, also known as cream-style sweet corn.
Ooh,
or
cream
simply
corn.
Soup corn.
Still definitely
the name
sweet.
really says it all. Creamed
That's
corn
much
is
like
a
it to my
soup-like
own.
milky mess that usually comes in a
I was
can
thinking
for
best
ease
with
of
cream
use.
corn on my
Interestingly,
own.
when made from scratch, it
Oh!
can look surprisingly
Oh, God.
The corn needs
Oh,
to be
boy.
husked and shucked before all the individual kernels are sliced off and removed from the cob. The kernels themselves are then painstakingly sliced halfway through using a sharp knife. This step is said to release the corn juice from the kernels, which is what makes up the creamed portion of the dish. You heard that right. The
Ooh,
original
all the
creamed
recipes
corn
you got.
contained absolutely no cream.
That's
or
absolutely
milk
do
or
the best
dairy
in my own.
byproducts at all. The corn
I
juice was
have
either
ever seen
repurposed
that.
because it looked a bit milky, or the milk from the
That's
mushy
definitely
white
like
of
cream
the cob
corn.
was saved, stored, and used as a base. Today,
I
the
really
canned
like the
version
cream
that is
corn.
most often seen
Definitely
on
the
Thanksgiving
worst
tables
time.
contains tapioca starch as its
Gross,
thickening
man.
agent. And nothing says Thanksgiving like tapioca starch. Ambrosia salad. A lesser-known Thanksgiving meal add-on is the ambrosia salad, and while it is used as a lighter dessert option to the popular pumpkin pie, there are still loads of people who feast on the stuff during the dinner portion of the meal as well. The salad's composition is interesting and unexpected.
Very interesting, my own
Marshmallow
time.
fluff meets diced-up Jell-O. It
I
contains a
definitely like
medley of
this
fruits
one.
such as oranges, apples, cherries, and peaches that are then slathered with heavy cream, tossed, chilled, and served. The ambrosia part of the equation comes from ancient Greek mythology, where all the gods and various other rich people would eat the dish because it was
Ooh,
said to
still
promote
living the gods,
immortality.
though.
Even after the Greek god idea, there was another similar school of thought. This one stated that the salad separated the rich from the poor in the late 19th century, as it contained ingredients that most people couldn't afford.
still
The dish
got a lot
crept
of
up through the
ingredients.
ranks and onto the holiday table in recent years. Sure, it has a bit of a cult-like following,
That's
but
still
many people
living
are
it
not
go.
sold. Reviews of the dish often include words like gross and disgusting.
Oh,
along with
already
phrases like,
discussed,
"Tastes
huh?"
like wet cheese. So for many, there's just one question surrounding this sickly sweet and oddly out-of-place dish. Why? Hard veggie platter. There's no doubting the importance of rounding out a meal with the appropriate number of greens, especially when balancing out a heavy Thanksgiving meal.
Vegetables!
However, nothing seems to
I
spell
guess I'm
dread
gonna
as
like
guests
this
start to
one.
gather at the dinner table like a tray of rock-hard, tasteless
You'll
raw
definitely
veggies.
go right in
Perhaps
the
because on a
platter
day
now.
of Thanksgiving indulgence, gnawing through a carrot or a giant celery stalk just doesn't seem to go with the savory theme of the day. In fact, more than 36% of Americans say they often don't bother to add veggies to any of their meals. Ever. So when Thanksgiving rolls around, the number of people lining up to eat raw veggies is pretty low. Keeping with the topic, by far the most unpopular way a raw vegetable can show up during a holiday meal is in the big, bulky plastic tray. You know the one. The one with the weak selection of carrots, broccoli, and
that
celery.
sounds
And who can forget
amazing.
that teeny,
I guess
tiny
I'm gonna
ranch
like
dressing
this
in
one.
The center. While it may be an easy
Pretty
choice
much
if you're
like
asked to
this
bring
one.
something last minute,
Mhm.
don't. The
Sounds a good
prepackaged
old
raw
times,
vegetable
huh?
tray really tanks. Time and again, the tray has dinner guests turning up their noses. Between the boring selection and predictable packaging, it's no wonder people find themselves skipping over the veggies in favor of just about everything else. The good news? There always seems to be lots left over. Giblet gravy. While
Okay.
turkey is one of the more widely enjoyed meals from the poultry family, it can be argued that without the correct accompaniments, it can be a little bit dry and dull. But when it comes to jazzing it up, gravy is one of the more popular condiments.
Ooh,
Standard
that's
gravy
cool
is
about
a
the
simple
gravy
concept.
now.
Splash the bird juice in with some flour, maybe some salt and pepper, and there you go. But as with anything in the culinary world, it just wouldn't be right if someone
my
didn't
goodness.
want to change the
Still got
formula
the
into
giblets
something
on
that
my own
no
time.
one really wanted.
I
Enter
can't even
giblet
wait
giblet
tell
gravy.
you something
Giblets
now.
are categorized as
Sounds
the
like
neck,
good giblets,
gizzard,
huh?
heart, and liver of a turkey. They usually are removed and then held together with netting before
Giblet,
being
giblet,
placed with the
giblet.
bird again. To put it bluntly, they're often stuffed where the sun doesn't shine. Remove the giblets from the bird, add some seasoning and the faithful
That was
scoop
a
of
good
flour, and
seasoning
you have
now.
something that is definitely different from the standard gravy. You wouldn't, for example, want to slather giblet gravy on French fries. There isn't much about this kind of gravy that is versatile. Giblet gravy is more often than not an unwanted extension of the Thanksgiving turkey. The reason is up in the air, but the rumor has it that one specific organ that is found within the giblet sac takes the flavor in a nasty direction. The liver is known to have a very strong, bitter taste and smell, which can completely
Sounds really
overpower the dish and
disgusting.
take it into borderline inedible territory. Cauliflower. Since about 2019, there's been a push towards using cauliflower as an option in lieu of meat or bread. The reason being its adaptability for people with certain food sensitivities. So it isn't that surprising that variations of Thanksgiving items now include the humble cauliflower.
Oh, still got a good
in this
cauliflower
case,
for that
takes over
vegetable, huh?
potatoes,
You gotta be
particularly of
careful
the
on this
mashed
time,
variety.
huh?
Its mild flavor isn't the worst, but its bland, soppy texture
Sounds
is
very
pretty
disgusting
gross.
to you,
Not
huh?
only that, but frankly, it stinks. Cauliflower gets its stench from sulfur compounds that are released when they're heated and cooked. There
Well,
isn't much
definitely
you can
the
do
worst
about
thing
the
in my
smell
own
either.
time.
Between the dull appearance, boring color, and general smelliness, mashed cauliflower has officially sealed a spot as one of the worst Thanksgiving dishes. Ham. The main course dilemma, ham or turkey? It's a landslide victory for the turkey. With an estimated 280 million turkeys
Ooh.
eaten every U.S. Thanksgiving,
Still
the
got
big bird
ham
is
to
the
you.
star of the meal, that's clear. It
Pigs
makes for
comes
great
from
leftovers.
ham, huh?
It takes forever to make.
That really
guests
takes
are
my own
waiting in
time.
anticipation for the big event. A turkey is the whole show. On the flip side, let's be honest, no one gives a round of applause when the ham comes out. A survey done on behalf of the
That's
Honey Baked
still
Ham
got the
Company
ham
wanted to
looking
know the most
good.
popular Thanksgiving main course, and they found out the hard way. It's not ham. In fact, not a single solitary soul chose ham. So with that cleared up, a deeper dive can be done on what has people so put off by it. For some, the answer lies in the dressing for the ham. Sometimes ham comes coated in a thick maple syrup. Sometimes there's a pineapple slice or two attached. Other times it's served alongside its worst foods list mate, canned cranberry sauce. Even in a standalone sense, ham is just not as popular.
Sounds good
The
to
reasons
me,
could date all
though.
the way back to the ham and cheese sandwich that was stuck in paper bag
Aw,
lunches
man,
and sent to
that
school
still
with
doesn't
kids
taste
across
like
the
ham
country.
on the
It's
ham
considered by
sandwich.
some to be an
Well, that's
inferior
exactly
sandwich
bad
meat.
at all,
So
huh?
if it is shunned by the average grade schooler, it isn't really a surprise that it makes the list of worst Thanksgiving foods either. Stuffing. Stuffing is diverse and can be prepared so many different ways. The one thing every stuffing has in common is stalish bread, as well as the obvious place where it gets stuffed.
Ooh,
One of the
stuffing.
first
That's
appearances
more
of
like it of
stuffing goes all the way
stovetop,
back to
huh?
the Roman Empire. Even back then,
Still technically a
cookbooks
blood
contained
bread on my
recipes for
own.
stuffing that went with a myriad of different meats, like pigs, chickens, and even rabbits. Fast forward a bit to the Thanksgiving turkey. The flavors that appear in turkey stuffing are all over the map. Most contain herbs like rosemary or thyme, but where the idea of stuffing goes off the rails seems to be the more random items added to the mix. Some stuffing includes raisins, nuts, organ meat, and spelt, a type of whole wheat. If all of this seems like too much trouble, there
Ooh,
are brands that
still
can be
definitely a
purchased.
good
The ones with
stuffing
the
on my
spicy,
Thanksgiving
crunchy,
time.
dehydrated bread
That
pellets are
sounds
used by over half
delicious,
of
huh?
Americans at Thanksgiving.
That's
We
good to
aren't
me
talking
eating
about
now.
that type here, though. Store-bought stuffing isn't technically stuffed anywhere and tends to be cooked next to the turkey, not inside it. Instant potato flakes. While you may not have any actual pilgrims invited to your Thanksgiving dinner, this dish offends many dinner guests. Instant potatoes have a tried-and-true ick factor that is deserving of a spot on the worst Thanksgiving dinner food
Aw,
list.
still
Not
got the
only
worst
are they
Thanksgiving, though.
unauthentic, the texture.
That was
and
definitely the worst day of my
obvious
own
lack of effort
time.
involved in their preparation makes them an unwelcome addition. While most would prefer not to sweat over a potato masher, making sure each person at the table has a proper helping of the starchy staple, instant potato flakes are better left off
You
the
got
menu
a
if you
lot of
want to
flakes,
keep
huh?
guests happy. The interest in instant potatoes
I like
is
it.
understandable. They save on a lot of physical labor and take less than a couple minutes to make. On the other hand, further inspection of instant potatoes shows an alarming backstory. Instant potatoes came to fruition because the Incas would purposely freeze some of their crops, namely their sliced potatoes. The ice would then be scraped off, the potatoes would dry, and the whole process would repeat until they were dry enough to store. This process would allow potatoes to last far longer than any other storage method, so they could be kept to guard against famine. A thoughtful history lesson, yes. Besides that, the convenience of the dish did
that's
not
good.
transition well onto the dinner table of the average American, wanting a more familiar, fluffy, and buttery version of the potato as a side dish. So even though it's a lot of work, stick to real spuds to make your mashed potatoes and stay far away from the instant potato flakes. Don't let this be the side dish that takes your Thanksgiving dinner down a notch. We've got more on.
Well, here's a craft time.
Fall is coming and it's time to prepare yourself and your home for this cozy season. Follow along to create this easy piece of fall decor. I used an 8x10 canvas, an image that I printed, brown paint, a staple gun, screwdriver, and foam brush. Remove the canvas from the frame. Paint the frame brown and allow it to dry. Trim down the image and add it to the canvas using your staple gun. Display in your home and this craft is complete. Thanks for watching and make sure to like and subscribe.
Bye guys. Thanks for watching.
Well, thanks for watching.